For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Sending you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new product from Dometic. So this here is a Dometic Boracay 301. So the Boracay essentially is a new model for the 2021 season, and it sits kind of in Dometic's top end brand. And probably one thing worth mentioning first is Dometic have not essentially a new brand to the tent industry, it's kind of camper. What the camper have really done is they've sort of segmented that sort of kind of camper and Dometic brand, sort of merged it out of the combination was, and you've got camper, which is sort of more price pointed. Dometic is top of the range. So it's kind of camper really, but they've sort of said Dometic is top end brand, top end features, every single thing that we can offer is going directly into it. Hence, we've got the Boracay. So it's a 3-person tent, but as 3-person tents go, it's exceedingly generous. You know, to be fair, most of our brands would probably even call this a 4-person. It's a true free berth. You know, the spacing you got in there, it's a small, compact, perfect for couples or small families, but it's actually a lot more spacing than you think. And that's partly because they've got a unique kind of rear storage bedroom that's works really well. So it means that your living area, although it's not that big, it's enough for a sort of table and chairs, but you haven't got all the clutter. You're literally just in there for living, and that's about it really. Really smart new colours and different designs. So it's something that's definitely sort of groundbreaking in terms of the way it looks. We've never seen anything like this before, and it's kind of looks almost very similar to kind of like a frame tent, I think. You know, sort of classical design, very boxy. You've got these very much vertically up beams, and it helps to maximise the internal space you've got inside of here. You know, the overall width of the tent's about 2.3 meters. So again, it's not a big tent, but it's roomy for what it is. And that's one thing, as I said, is down to the core features that's involved in this tent. They packed it as much as they possibly could. So things like you've got high level ventilation with low level ventilation for a circulation of air to help make it fresh and airy, and as warm days a bit nicer. Also to sort of fight condensation. You've got reflective webbing storm straps front and back to really help that torsion in the roof. You've got a single point pegging point where it pegs the base and the guide point all in one. Something that they've used for many years, and it sort of has it all in there. Colour coordinated pegging points as well, so you do your orange tabs on the main bit or first, so peg it down, pump it up, and it's quick and easy to do. It's inflatable, so as you see from our own kind of Attwoolls pitching and packing video, I've pitched this model in my own best part of 8 minutes, which means it's perfect for weekends or sort of slightly longer weeks, which means, you know, it's versatile. Because obviously it's quite small, it packs down to a smaller pack size as well, which is quite key. Other things to bear in mind is that you've got kind of this little storage section at the back, and this is kind of created by this kind of, like I said, more classical style. So you've got an aluminium pole at the back here, it helps to raise it up, and as we look on the inside, actually it just keeps going and going and going until you've got your clutter all out the back, zip it out the way, out of sight, out of mind. Again, webbing straps on the back, you've got 4 whole nice heavy webbing straps located there. It runs with a 150 denier fabric, so it's a really nice strong fabric as well, around about 6,000 mil high static head. You've got this kind of brow canopy located at the top, on the front I should say. So it's an internal brow. Admittedly it's the first sample, so a little bit tweaking, but not only have you got a pole that goes around the front here, but you've even got an additional pole that you kind of clip into shape to make sure that canopy stays nice and robust, but strong in stiffness. And again, it's things like that is the level of detail we're talking here. Things like also the colour sort of webbing strap around the trim just kind of makes it a little bit more, feel a bit more premium. A flat fronted door we've got located with windows at the front, and again the door thing itself, the lip at the front can lip down or lip up, just to sort of get that level of seal, but also the fact that you can actually you know, have no trip hazards, you know, have push chairs, wheelchairs, whatever you want coming in here quite happily. But let's talk a few more features about the Boracay on the inside. So now in a Boracay, you can kind of get a bit more idea for the sheer amount of size you've got in here. Like I said, it's quite a small tent, but it's also big at the same time. So first and foremost, I'm about 6'2", walking in and out the doorway, not a problem, which makes a big difference when, you know, to make a tent feel bigger, you always want it further away from you to, last thing you want is when you feel quite enclosed, this walls coming in quite closely. It means also that things like furniture and things like that can't be pushed right against the wall. And as you can see here, I can stand up dead against the wall quite happily. My feet is right at the bottom, so again, it maximises your internal space. The front door itself, you've also got the normal door with actually it's got a window in it as well, which you don't see from many other brands. But wherever you've got sort of nice big crystal clear windows, you've got curtains as well. So you've got zip up curtains, so you can zip them up, actually halfway or sort of sideways or whatever you want to do it to. But the difference being is that with these kind of curtains as well, is that when you're sort of done with them, you've actually got a whole designated pocket built down here. So you can literally quite just literally shove it in there. You don't have to roll it up as such. And it's got a little kind of press-studded pop button on it. So you just literally pop it on, it's done there. You haven't got to try and get a tie, feed it for anything. Literally a pop button. That's very much the theme throughout it. So the same pop buttons you've got sort of to hold the curtains in its own little pocket, are the same ones you're using for cable points. So when you've got, say, a lantern to hang up, you've got this really nice little metal carabiner clip. So again, it's the small details that really do make this tent kind of what it is, and it also reflects a little bit in the price. You know, things like that don't come cheap. And again, what you've got is this little bit of webbing strap, little poppers, so you can quite happily, like I said, just close it with one hand, open it with one hand. So it means that it shows you as simple as cable can run down to the point out the cable entries. And in this point here, you've actually got two cable entry points, one on the left and one on the right, which you don't really see very often for this small kind of tent. And like I said, it's down to the spec we've got here. Not only of that, if you've got the poppers, but small details again, talking about things like a door retainer strap. So rather than again being a bit of elasticated in a toggle point, you've actually got a physical buckle. It means that you've got a nice strong bit of webbing strap you can extend out to fully to properly get a good wrap around, which always can be, sometimes you find is never big enough, and then you just pull to tension it. In fact, while I'm on the case, you've actually got a separate kind of point. So you've got your normal door, which we can see here. Like I said, and you've got a zip curtain built into there so you can get that privacy when you want to. On the flip side of that, you've also got a full frontal mesh door. So you can get that first line up against barrier. So on a warm day, you've got the canopy against the rain and you mesh against the bugs. So again, have it in here at night, lantern, and also playing some cards or something like that. You've got your first line against the barrier, and then the little zip sort of flip up basey here. That velcros then to this point here, so it keeps it all really nice and tidy. Small little things again, so like on all of the pullers, you've got this really nice big oversized kind of triangle piece. It's things like that, you know, it's the, like I said, fine details that really kind of make the tent what it is. And again, when you want to clip it up, and again, you've got a separate clip for the mesh panel as well as the normal panel, so you can have one retained while the other one sort of leads flat. But as you can see there, you've got tons of room to kind of just do, even if it's a rush job. Bear in mind that's sort of two clips using for one. Clips on, nice and easy, not fiddling about with it, makes the life a lot easier. Obviously, you've got crystal clear windows around the actual tent itself, and then you've also got ventilation. So you've got a ventilation panel on both side windows to allow airflow in, to help sort of keep it a bit more fresh and airy inside of here. Again, privacy curtains up on the side, and then low-level ventilations, which we kind of saw from the outside. Moving back into the sleeping scenario here. So what you've got really is the bedroom section width-wise is 2.1, which is about 70 centimeters per person. And I don't really think many people will do anything bigger than that, really. And that's why I think for couples it's perfect. You know, you've got tons and tons of room. A camp bed normally is around about 130. So a double camp bed in here, you've still got a whole, you know, 70, 80 centimeters. You can put almost a little storage unit in there, or an airbed, or a king size airbed in here, and that works well. Depth wise, you've got 2.225, it is deep. And it works really quite nicely that, you know, you can again put those larger airbeds in here and have a little bit of room for a table. Storage pockets built into the front of it as well, so you can sort of declutter the main body of the sort of the tent. Books, keys, phones can rest in there, you haven't got to worry about it. And that's the same theme in the bedroom. You've got pockets either side, so everyone can have their own little space for torches to get out in the middle of the night. They can work sort of feel where it is. The door itself section in here is a little pocket located, and again you've got a really nice sort of dark inner in here, and that's the same with kind of the door. You've got kind of a full frontal, so you see nice dark in here. I can't even find the pullers, is that dark. And then you've got a big mesh panel as well to have ventilation in, and again poppers to retain it as and when we need to. You've got almost like a kind of a light and dark scenario, so a dark top bit where the sun's going to normally come through, but lighter down below just to make it a bit more nicer. And again, you've got big sort of storage triangle wedges which you can shove the door into, so you're never sort of rolling the door up like you would with the front door. And again, poppers that kind of just keep it all in place and out the way. And again, you've got this pelmet at the top, so it seems like all part of the tent is all very seamless. Now, like I said, the one thing that makes this bit different is the whole sort of back section. So there's actually a rear door here. Yeah. So what you can do is you can open that rear door up. You can even roll it away to one side if you wanted to. And then suddenly you've got this whole back storage section. So you've got this whole sort of area here where you can sort of declutter the main sort of body of the tent. That means you have almost like a storage unit down here if you wanted to. And to be fair, I can actually stand up in here quite happily. So you've got sort of a good amount of height in here. Admittedly, I'm into the bedroom there, but you know, and you've got sort of a rear storage at the back. So it all works really nicely that you maximise your main area here. So things like the tent bag, you're just shoving out of the way, out the back, out of sight, out of mind, and that works really nicely. But let's pick the camera up now and have a little bit of a wander around the tent to get a bit more of a feel for it. So, let's the inside, trying to get more grasp for it. So, like I said, there's fine details, things like your little tabs that you've got on there, just to kind of give you a bit more an idea of where the cable goes down to. So you can see them all quite happily to that little cable entry point right down the bottom by the vent. And not only you got it on the one beam, but you've also got it on the second beam. So it replicates that, and you've got it on both sides, which again, normally brands sort of orientate you to one particular side. You've also got a Velcro bit stitched in there, so you take the Campus Sabre flex lights, so you can add lighting that directly down without having a lantern kind of hanging underneath and obstructing headroom. The mesh point we see, and you've got that sort of crystal clear window, so again, you can sort of see everywhere on the campsite, albeit a bit of condensation, but it gives a bit more of a fresher feel. When we're in the main living area, you can see those sort of darker bedrooms, and again, you've got the storage pockets on that left-hand side. Low-level storage pockets on the right and left for the keys and sort of torches. But much darker fabric, as you can see. It's a nice out bedrooms, and you can also put a little wardrobe pole in there as well, and you can have one on either side if you really want to hang your sort of clothes and things like that. But when you come down here, we're into the storage section. So you've got a nice big ventilation point on both sides, and again, like I said, depth-wise, you can see you've got, that's where the bedroom sort of finishes, and that's where it starts. So you've got easily a good sort of maybe half a metre, maybe a little bit more. And as you kind of sort of flip back and look back, it sort of slopes up to the side, so you can kind of get a bit more of a feel for when you're right in the back of the side of the bedroom, what it's like. But let's get up and have a little wander around the outside of it to get more of a feel. So again, that sort of canopy sort of up hole in the roof, but then you've got a little ridge one around the outside, and you've got the little retaining high visibility strap for pegging points, that low level ventilation, and also that canopy sort of pulls out from there. And there's even things like a little marking point for when you fold it up. That back corner goes to that sort of pointing, so it's basically in half, and that's the width of the bag. So things like that, I mean, I wouldn't pack it away that way, but it gives you a bit more of an idea. Again, you've got kind of the little ridge poles at the back to kind of give that almost kind of like a right angle triangular shape to give you more internal sort of storage space right at the back there. Obviously 4 webbing straps right at the back at top to help with that ventilation, but also stability. And you've got low level straps as well, just to kind of keep it all nice and neat. And you just insert the poles individually, as you've seen from our kind of pitching and packing video, but it just gives you a bit more of an idea about it and sort of the sort of size of it as well. So for a small tent, it's blimmin' big, you know, loads of room, loads of sort of talking points in many ways about it. Other things, if you want any more information about the tent itself, what you can always do is check the link below this video. It goes you directly through to our website. We talk more information about pack sizes, pack weights, dimensions of the living room, sleeping room, and so forth. So all that information is there at a touch of a button. But let us know what you think. In fact, actually, if you follow that link, it goes through to our videos as well on the pitching of it. So you can sort of all check it all on there. But yeah, let us know what you think. It's quite a nice little quirky little model. Admittedly, I think from the price point, it's not going to be something everyone's going to flock to. But for those people who love quality and love features and wants literally, I said, everything they could possibly want. Plus the fact, actually, I forgot to mention, is you can buy a canopy. How can I forget that? There's an additional canopy you can buy on the front of it. So you wanted to make it bigger, and again, makes it sort of 2 more manageable weights rather than 1 big bulky weight. Again, if you're going for weekends, you put the main body up, the canopy then puts up afterwards. You can zip a canopy on, so a proper zip canopy, and it's a really nice depth, inflated as well. So that's also very much worth a look. And I think we've actually had that with the TC, the Polycotton version of this tent. In that review video, we've got it pitched, I believe. So you can always check that out, and that kind of really kind of, yeah, shows it in full. If not via our website, we'll have it anyway. But positive model, quirky, different. I love the nitty-gritty details of everything, really. You know, it's just, they've definitely tried to make it a very premium product. So for someone who wants everything, and not so much cost isn't about what it is, but who wants every fine details for, you know, couples, for small families, I think it works well. And the fact that you've got that whole kind of area at the back, you could, if you were to say cut that out and add it on the living area space, you know, actually make living area space feel quite big. But what having it at the back, suddenly you said you make this just purely living and that purely storage, and that's where you're not cluttering things up. It's a bit neater, it's a bit tidier, and that's where I think it works really well. But yeah, so that's kind of a little video review on the new Dometic Boracay 301. And yeah, for any more information, just let us know.